Street Fighter
Capcom.
5.
Yeah. Capcom needs Evo.
But they're they're more
Capcom's
than
fucking around.
Yep. They're going to find out.
The Capcom is currently fucking around, and we'll see if they find out. They have updated the community license agreement for Street Fighter V Champion Edition, and you can assume that some aspect of this might carry over to Street Fighter 6, but currently that is what they're saying. The upshot of this is that they have basically they're laying out a bunch of like a license agreement for people who want to run Street Fighter tournaments, saying here are the things you can and cannot do. And some of the stuff seems very restrictive. It's a cap on how much money and sponsorships you can bring in.
I don't know how that's an upshot. I don't understand that.
And also that the prize pools are capped at $2,000 per event, and there's also another annual cap.
Yep.
Some of it is like, hey, the event cannot be broadcast on television.
Sure.
And you should not use the Street Fighter brand in the name of your event, or the Street Fighter logo in the name of your event. Some governing use around the IP that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah, like if you wanted to start like a Street Fighter 5 fest, no, you can't do that.
Yeah. All of this seems aimed at them preventing people from running large tournaments with their game.
They need to have those types of tournaments.
So you can still run those types of tournaments, but if you are going to do anything that does not adhere to this community license agreement, then you must contact Capcom and negotiate an esports license.
Yep.
That's wild.
And that, I assume, is a biz dev process where Capcom's like, yeah, but you got to kick us. If you're raking in sponsorship money that we want to fucking cut, Holmes.
Not sure if they want to cut so much as like they allow higher tiers of prize pool stuff.
Yes, that as well. But they are capping sponsorship money for these community events.
Yep.
So that is one of the things. So if you are bringing in a bunch of sponsorship money, I assume Capcom wants its taste.
I think rather they can then keep their prize totals for Capcom Pro Tour to a reasonable level.
Yes, that probably is also a nice benefit for them, as they don't have to look like they are not shelling out for the community. Has that been a problem? Do you remember if that has come up? If people having just much bigger prize pools than Capcom has had?
No. I mean, they've never had huge prize pools to begin with. But this annual limit shit is kind of scary for people like, Next Level Battle Circuit who do weeklies.
Yeah.
Who run Matcherino, which is all kind of donation based. Is that sponsor money or is that prize money? Like it there's a lot of questions that are not answered in this document by any means.
And the reaction
there's
has
a lot
been
of holes.
scathing.
Super negative. Even from just like freelance photographers, maybe they'll get hired from a tournament organizer. And Capcom wants full royalty free usage of all those pictures, of all that video footage, all the match footage, just wholesale. And freelancers are super pissed about that, of course.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yep.
So it's the reactions to this online that I've seen has been very negative, and you see some people saying like, well, Street Fighter 6 is already dead, they killed it. If this is what they want to do to the community, then there's not going to be a community left for them to launch a new game into.
They're perfectly within their right to protect their copyright. I get that.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're willing to pull the trigger on this shit remains to be seen.
Right.
It is totally not in their best interest to do so. Like the fighting game community is a marketing machine for their fighting games in particular.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It seems like this is akin to when Nintendo tried to step in and say, you can't stream our games without giving us a cut and agreeing to this very restrictive agreement that they did eventually step away from a large part of it, but like this just feels very much like the Japanese publisher still kind of not really getting how the internet works and
or how the West works,
and really fucking up. It's very it was very interesting. I saw this at 3 a.m. Like I woke up and I was awake and just kind of scrolled through Twitter real quick and saw it, and I was like, holy shit, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I know.
Like, what?
Was it the reception of Street Fighter 6, or was there something that happened at like a tournament recently that
this
spurred
seems like it's just in conjunction of just like, they just had that last Pro Tour event and kind of, so it's kind of like maybe, hey, before we get into, or hey, now that we're getting ready to announce our new game and we're kind of like done with Street Fighter 5, like maybe they view that as a good time to update the agreement.
Possibly, and that's maybe giving them too much credit, but that very well could be, I guess. But
as for the timing, I don't understand. So
because we're at the end of life cycle for Street Fighter 5, so it's super interesting because I mean they don't name Street Fighter 6 or they do say like the game.
Yeah,
they keep
referring to Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition is what they keep talking about. They have updated a few hours ago and basically said, yesterday we published the new community license agreement for both the Americas and EMEA. Our aim was to make running an event easier. When TOs have contacted Capcom about running community events in the past, the approval process has always taken a lot of time. We wanted to make the rules clear and allow for much faster approvals. We're also keen to build tighter relationship with TOs and to encourage safe spaces to play the game. Thank you to everyone who has sent us feedback thus far. We are reviewing this feedback with the wider Capcom team and will follow up with more updates soon. That sounds like, hey, we knew exactly that this was going to happen, but they made us do this, and now we're going to send this feedback back and say, I fucking told you so.
Yeah.
Walk it back.
I do like the fact that there's some community guidelines put in place. That's kind of cool as well.
Yeah. But there's aspects of this. And like, honestly, like for their position on this, I think makes some sense in terms of there are a lot of people out there, there's a lot of money changing hands around this game. And it gets into the whole thing of like public exhibition of a console game and stuff that has always been forbidden in a lot of license agreements, but never really enforced. And, you've got your esports bars and all this other shit. Like this is a growing industry. And I think the people that make the games probably need to get a handle on where they get theirs, because it probably should be more than just selling the copies of the game. But this feels like it is deliberately fucking over people running smaller tournaments, and that seems like the exact opposite of what they want to do.
My knee-jerk reaction was, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, there are other companies.
We're the people that make Street Fighter.
Yeah.
You can get away with anything, right?
Not anymore. You keep doing shit like this, Street Fighter can easily go by the wayside. There's plenty of other games that are up and coming that could just as easily replace Street Fighter, I think.
Yeah, it feels like there's never been that now more than ever, perhaps it feels like Street Fighter is something that could be replaced. But I don't know.
With the way that they've been directing things lately.
Yes, I think sure. So. I mean, I'm very excited to see what an Ono-less Street Fighter looks like.
Apparently, it looks like an Adobe stock logo.
Well,
no, the F is different, Jason. It's ever so slightly
very different.
Curved.
Yeah,
they did round some corners. Yes,
the patent lawyer. I'll have you know that those are the same logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Like this very much strikes me as like there are probably people in positions at Capcom where they were not able to fight this off despite telling them, hey, this is probably not the way to do this. Like there's probably a way to do something like this, but this is not the way. And then it got rolled out and they're like, all right, guess what? Everyone hated it. But yes, they did. There is some stuff in there about just the tournament environment and what they don't want to have happen in their game. Prohibited behavior includes physical or cyber violence.
Yeah, no cyber violence. We're sick of it.
I'm just going to say cyber violence sounds like a fighting game.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Certainly a phrase.
I know that's not what they mean, but when you say you're prohibiting cyber violence, the games where people punch each other over and over again, that sounds like cyber violence to me. I don't know.
Is that cyberbullying still?
No.
That is the goal. I think that is the crux of what they are attempting to get to, but they instead said no physical
violence.
or cyber violence. All one word, cyber violence.
All right.
Cyber violence.
If someone beats me in the finals of a Street Fighter tournament, right? It's all online, and then I eventually find their address, go into their place, and take a baseball bat to their fighting stick. Is that cyber violence still?
No, that happened in the real world. That would be physical violence to a fight stick.
Okay.
Hey, it didn't happen on the tournament grounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I just needed to, figure this all out just in case.
Yeah, no, we'll figure out how you can continue to be a toxic fighting game player. Yeah,
oh no, that's
it's
Smash.
Just, yeah. Oh yeah. I guess that's the way. Yeah, if you want to be a toxic fighting player, get into Smash, and then the showers will stop naturally, and then what happens happens.